Alrighty people, we're gonna fire this weapon review up. We're going into the firearms after all. But before I get started on that, there's a few things I need to explain that this game features. There's these things called chem fluid and strong chem fluid. These are used to create items in the game. Now, one of these items that can be created with these two things are handgun bullets and enhanced handgun bullets. So, enhanced ammo makes a return from Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Now, only the handgun ammo can be enhanced. No enhanced shotgun ammo here. Now, here's what all you can make with the chem fluid along with ammo. And this screen here, it shows you everything that can be created with regular chem fluid and strong chem fluid. So, regular chem fluid combined with an herb makes a first aid med. Combined with gunpowder, regular handgun ammo. Combined with solid fuel, you create burner fuel for the burner, another weapon I'll start reviewing soon. And combined with supplements, you can make psychostimulants, which are used to help you find items throughout the game for a temporary period of time. Now, if you do all that, but with the strong chem fluid, you get some nice stuff. You get a strong first aid, enhanced handgun ammo, flame rounds for the grenade launcher, and neuro rounds for the grenade launcher. A brand new type of round. I'll be getting into that shortly. I'll be getting into that later in this review. But anyway, to this point, with the gunpowder. The gunpowder also makes a return from Resident Evil 3. However, once again, only for handgun ammo, so there's only one type of gunpowder. So, combined with regular chem fluid, you'll get regular handgun ammo, but combined with a strong, you'll get enhanced handgun ammo. It's the main way to get enhanced handgun ammo, although there are certain points in the game where you can actually just simply pick it up. Anyway, my point is, since the handguns are going to have two different types of ammo, so I'll be testing all of them 2 different times. So just so we're clear about that. So, to introduce the first handgun, which is the M19 handgun. Conveniently named due to the fact that you could tell that's the Colt 1911 handgun that's been featured in quite a few of the Resident Evil games, actually. Alright, so the first appearance of the M19 handgun happens to be at the guest house at the very beginning of the game. After you unlock the attic, you want to go into the first room on your right, and there you'll find some handgun ammo, and what do you know, the M19 handgun.
Okay, fine.
Now, since Ethan only has one hand, we can't, like, cock it, you know what I mean? Now, after that point, you could actually find it again inside the trailer after getting out of the main house. It will be on Zoe's bed. And it's a broken handgun, so unfortunately you can't use it again right off the bat. You have to go outside and get a repair kit. And the repair kit happens to be under the house over here. So if you're coming out of the house, this is what you might want to do this first, since it's like practically right there. You would open it up, you would open this sheet of metal that's blocking this path, and the repair kit would be in a box that is right here. Unfortunately, I already opened it before I remembered to start recording, so you don't see it right here and there, but trust me, this is where the repair kit is. Alright, so as if you got the repair kit just now, then you would head back into the trailer, and you would find the broken handgun. And then you can go ahead and repair the handgun, and you can get the M19 again. So I'm going to go ahead and repair the handgun. And now we got the M19 again. Now just to show you guys something, you could also get the M19 handgun in the playable demo. And I'm only showing this because in this one you could actually see him cock it. There we go. It's a better introduction. So here's me equipping it. Now here's something I want to show you guys real quick. When I aim, if my target is in the distance, it blurs out the gun and my hand. However, if the target is closer, like right up in front of me, you see the difference right there? As soon as I get to a close object, the blur goes away and you can actually see my gun and hand pretty clearly. So when I'm testing these weapons out, I'm going to be shooting them right up against an object so you can get a clear view of the weapon as I'm shooting and reloading it. Hope you guys can forgive the fact that I'm shooting directly at a wall. I know there's some people out there who wonder why I do this and not test it on an enemy right off the bat. It's just not the style of my reviews, people, so you're just going to have to deal with it. Alright, so let's go ahead and test the handgun out. specifically the M19. First with regular handgun ammo. Alright, so here's me testing it out one-handed with Ethan after he gets his hand cut off by Mia. Alright, typical sounding handgun, a decent firing speed. Now here's something about the fire rates. You can't hold down the button and it will constantly fire anymore. Only you can control the fire rate. This is very similar to Resident Evil Outbreak. So yeah, that was probably the best fire rate I could give you guys. So now I'm going to go ahead and switch to enhanced ammo and see if the fire sound is any different. Alright, it is slightly different. Alright, now that I know that, I'll be testing both of them for all the handguns. If it turned out to be exactly the same, I would have only tested both ammos on the enemy testing and not the initial testing. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and test the M19 handgun on a molded with both ammos. First with regular ammo. Alright, so a nice smooth enemy testing. Can't get enough of it, can we? Anyway, that took a total of 10 M19 shots to take down a molded when aiming for the chest, and this is in normal mode. Just keep all of that in mind. Now, here's the thing, another element of my weapon reviews, when it comes to the amount of shots it takes to defeat enemies, it may not be the same in all circumstances. Throughout the game, enemies might get tougher, and I'm actually pretty late in the game right now. This is not very far from the end. So for all I know, they might be a little up in power compared to ones you face earlier in the game. Anyway, to prevent... Whoa. It just disappeared, I noticed. Anyway, to prevent a misunderstanding with firepower, and another reason I'm not very detailed with my weapon reviews, here's what I do. Whatever amount of shots it takes in the initial test against an enemy, it's going to be different in other circumstances. For instance, game difficulty, if you're in easy mode, it's probably going to take less shots. If you're in Madhouse difficulty, it's probably going to take more shots. So, what I would do is, there's a formula that I always use to cover all aspects of the game when it comes to the initial testing. However many shots it took me in the initial testing, just add or subtract 5 from that amount, and it usually will cover all of the game. So it took me 10 shots right there, so I don't think in any circumstance it will take less than 5 shots, unless of course you're aiming for the head. That changes a lot of things. And it shouldn't take any more than 15 shots, no matter what difficulty you're in. And of course, unless you're aiming for like the foot or something. So in terms of my test, what remains the same is if you aim for the chest, that's the amount of shots it's going to take. And just add or subtract that amount by 5, depending on difficulty and where you're at in the game. But that only goes for the chest for a final time. Alrighty? So that's the M19 handgun with regular ammo. Now let's try with enhanced ammo. Alright, so only 4 shots from the M19 when using enhanced ammo against a molded. So enhanced ammo does quite a bit more damage than regular ammo. So you want to stockpile that stuff, and then enhanced ammo is not too bad of ammo to use against more boss-type enemies. Seriously. Alrighty, well, I think that will conclude the M19 handgun. I used both ammos on the molded, and both were very clean tests, no damage taken. These things aren't that hard to, like, stay away from, you just gotta keep your distance. However, there's a couple different types of molded as well. Some molded have like mutated arms that will do more damage if you get hit by it. But the molded I hate the most is the ones that crawl on the floor. Those ones are much more dangerous, they're a lot more mobile, and they're faster. But I think the amount of shots it takes to defeat them is around the same, if not less. Because they do more damage, it's gonna require less rounds to defeat them. That would be a good compromise if you ask me. Alright, well that is it for the M19 handgun, people. Now for the next handgun, the Glock 17. This makes a return from previous Resident Evil games. Alright, a standard power handgun, designed mainly for ease of use. Alright. Alrighty, so here's where you get the G17. When Jack kills the deputy, it falls out of his hand, and then you can go and get it real quick. So grab the G17 handgun. Alrighty. So, the G17 is gonna be your primary for a while in the game. Until, of course, you repair the M19 handgun. It's an all-around... But the G17 is an all-around weapon, to be honest. Ugh. But the G7... Alrighty, so let's go ahead and test the G17 out. Alrighty, so the firing sound does not change between the handguns, it seems. Then again, this isn't a gun-based game like the action shooters of Resident Evil 5 and 6, so they're not going to put too much variety in it, which is fine by me. Alright, so now let's test enhanced ammo. Alright, if you haven't noticed, there's no listing of weapon statistics like the modern games. So, the only things you see right off the bat, really, are the capacity. Okay, I may have slightly lied when I said there are no upgrades in this game. There's one type of upgrade, sort of, that increases the reload speed of your weapons, but it's not in the shape of an upgrade or a weapon part. It's actually something called a stabilizer. It's basically an injection shot. Here, I think I have one in here. Do I? Yeah, I do. Okay. So, a stabilizer relaxes the muscles and reduces stress, making reloading faster. The effects last indefinitely, so you can permanently increase your reload speed if you use one of these stabilizers. I'm not going to because I'm trying to give you guys the most basic and average statistics of these weapons, even though they're not heavily featured in this game, unlike the modern games. But just be aware that you can increase the reload speed with these stabilizers. There's a total of 2, I think, in this game. So, you can increase your reload speed a little bit. But anyway, God, I do speak way too much. But yeah, the point I was making before talking about the stabilizer is it's only the capacity you could see right off the bat, really, and possibly the firing speed, even though that depends entirely on you, sort of. But there is a limit. Now, between the M19 and the Glock 17, I didn't see much of a fire rate difference, but the capacity is clearly different. The M19 only has 7 bullets per clip. The Glock 17, however, has 10 bullets per clip. So, there's an advantage right there, but it's going to compensate firepower for it. I know that for a fact. Anyway, enough talking about it. Let's go ahead and test the Glock 17 on a molded. Okay, so that took a total of 13 Glock 17 shots with regular ammo to take down a molded when shooting the chest in normal mode. So, slightly more bullets than the M19, so there's your proof right there that the Glock 17 isn't as powerful as the M19. It's funny, it added the same amount of bullets to the capacity as it did to do in the molded. Is there a connection there? Alright, anyway, now let's test the enhanced ammo with the Glock 17. Alrighty, so that took 5 shots from the enhanced Glock 17 to take down a molded. Now, one of those shots did take his arm off, so that might have compromised like an accurate test to compare with the previous test. I don't know if I want to do it again just to find out. But point is, enhanced ammo heavily increases the firepower of any handgun, but it did take 1 shot more than the M19 enhanced, so there's still a difference of firepower in there. Alright, so between the M19 and the Glock 17, Glock 17's advantage is it has more ammo, but the M19 has more firepower. Those are your 2 options between those 2 weapons. But we're not done with the handguns, we still got 2 more to review. So that is it for the Glock 17.
Do I have your attention, boy? You're about to see something wonderful. Oh, fuck!
Now for the next handgun, the MPM, also known as the Makarov MPM. This makes a return from Revelations 2, the last main game in the series before this. That's kind of interesting. So the MPM is described as a small standard power handgun acquired on the wrecked ship. And that is true, as I will demonstrate here. So from the first floor elevator, this is where you get the MPM, or the Makarov if you want to say. It's in this drawer where this crew member is holding the drawer. You open the door and there's the MPM for you. Alright, so now we have the MPM equipped. Let's go ahead and test it out. First with regular ammo. Alright, now with enhanced ammo. Alright, so firing the weapon, firing speed, firing sound, and reload speeds seem to be all the same. The only difference between all these handguns is the firepower and the capacity. This handgun holds 9 bullets instead of the 7 from the M19 or the 10 from the Glock. So this one, in terms of capacity, is between those 2 weapons. Now let's see how it fares in firepower. Alrighty, so the Makarov took a total of 14 shots to defeat a molded. So out of all the handguns so far, this one has the weakest firepower. And yes, I already knew that. There's almost no reason to have this handgun once you make it back to Ethan's part of the game. Nothing about it is better besides having a higher capacity than the M19. But it has a weaker firepower than the Glock. So that's not even worth it. Alright, well, regardless, now I'm gonna go ahead and test it with enhanced ammo. Alright, so the Makarov took a total of 6 enhanced shots to take down a molded. So in both cases, the Makarov proves to be the weakest handgun in the game, even though I haven't even shown the last one yet. But I'm just going to tell you that right here and now. It is the weakest handgun in the game. Once again, there is no reason to use it once you get back to Ethan. Its only use, really, is in Mia's part of the game. It's the handgun you receive for her. But then once you see the next handgun, even it is going to make that part pointless. But anyway, that is it for the Makarov MPM handgun. Alright, time for a major throwback weapon. Time for the last handgun, which is also the only unlockable handgun. It is called the Albert 01. Now I wonder if you guys can figure out why it is called that. If you look at it closely, that is, you see the stars? Yeah, that is Albert Wesker's Samurai Edge. I think that's Albert's Samurai Edge, I think. If not that, then it's the Stars Samurai Edge handgun from like classic games. But it's even equipped with a silencer. Anyway, A functioning replica of the anti-bioweapon handgun. Even though it's a replica, it still packs a punch. Okay, it's called the Albert 01R. My bad. Anyway, this weapon is special because it's not necessarily an unlockable. It's just, you can only unlock it as a regular weapon. But in the regular game, if you haven't unlocked it yet, you can only see it at the very end of the game, and it's a very special weapon. And the reason that this one is called a replica is because it's not like its original version. So let's go ahead and equip it. Yeah, it's a nice bulky handgun. Alright, so here's the main drawback to this weapon though. It only has 3 bullets in the magazine, so you're gonna have to reload it constantly. However, in my opinion, it is worth all that because this happens to be the most powerful handgun in the game. Not the first time I've said that when it came to the Samurai Edge. Alright, so let's go ahead and test it out. Alright, now this one has a different shot animation and a different firing sound. And a different firing speed because it has greater recoil. So this is a different handgun compared to all the rest. Now let's test it with enhanced ammo. Alright, I forgot to tell you how to unlock this handgun. It's almost not even worth explaining how to unlock it, because you unlock it by simply beating the game. It doesn't matter what difficulty you win, you'll unlock it the moment you beat the game. No matter how long you take, no matter how many first aid meds you take, no matter what. The requirement for this gun is to simply make it through the game. To finish it, to beat it. So it is literally the easiest unlockable in this game, if not any Resident Evil game. It's like along there with unlocking new difficulty modes upon initially beating it. Alright, so let's go ahead and test the Albert 01R handgun on a molded. Alrighty then, so only 4 shots from the Albert 01R to take down a molded. It takes down a molded with as many regular shots as it takes enhanced M19 shots. What does that tell you? So this gun is more powerful than the Glock 17 and the Makarov with enhanced ammo, and the same firepower as the M19 with enhanced ammo. So this blows all other handguns out of the park in terms of firepower. But they they compensate that by giving you very low ammo amounts in each magazine and a slightly slower firing speed, which honestly you can get over. Alright, so if it took that many rounds with regular bullets, let's see how many enhanced bullets it takes. Alrighty, it took half the amount. It only took 2 enhanced shots from the Albert 01R to take down a molded. So yeah, this thing is a beast when it has enhanced ammo on it. So yeah, a great weapon to have once you unlock it. It pretty much renders all the other handguns useless once you have it. The only thing is though, it's in the item box, so you do have to get in the item box first. Alrighty. Well, that is it for the Albert 01 handgun, as well as all handguns.
Use it! Lay time, Colt.